And like I said that today is the first day of the session, so just waiting for additional minutes for everyone to join in, because I just got the update that we were supposed to see almost 10 participants joining in the evening session, but we are only at half of that count. But still, let me move on, because otherwise I'll just keep on waiting. So welcome to the Project Management Professional Study Facilitation Workshop. And as you would be aware that we would be completing the whole syllabus, whole curriculum in the next 9 sessions, which would be on every weekend for 4 hours. So hopefully we should be able to move on just all right without any as such issues. I'll give you a very quick introduction while we are still waiting for others to join in. So I'll give you my introduction. So as far as good evening guys, and good evening Mahipal. So as far as my training experience is concerned, I have been associated with training programs, or I've been conducting training programs for over six and a half years now. And the major topics that I generally would take up would come from project management family itself. So I do take care of project management professional, which is what we are going to look at. Along with that, I am also taking care of Prince 2. So I do conduct these sessions for Prince 2, which is, not sure if you're aware of it or not, but it's a different parallel methodology on project management discipline, which comes from UK. So, and along with that, I'm also certified on both of these. I mean, I'm a certified instructor for PMP as well as Prince 2. I also deliver sessions for ITIL, which is a service management topic. Along with that, MS Projects, which is Microsoft Project. So all the different versions of Microsoft Project, be it client, be it server. So I also conduct sessions on them. And along with that, there are certain Microsoft products like Dynamics family that I also deliver trainings for. So if you have heard, I'm not sure, there are certain products like Microsoft Accept, Microsoft Navision, Microsoft CRM, Microsoft SureStep. So these are some of the other softwares that I sometimes deliver trainings on. But core area remains project management. And before moving into trainings, I was associated with one of the telecom industries, in one of the telecom organizations. So there I was working and taking care of their projects, which was in the last 3 or 4 years, I can say. So I was taking care of almost all their projects in terms of IT. And before moving into project management, I was working as a networks engineer. So after initial three years of experience as a networks engineer, I got the opportunity to move into project management, where I was initially working as a lower level coordinator, or you can say coordinator at the lowest level in the project team. Then moved up the ladder and got fascinated by the world of projects. Got my Prince 2 certification, then got the PMP as well, and then moved into trainings. So that would be very quick, brief introduction about myself. Let me know if you have any particular questions that you would like to ask me. And for some of you who have joined us just now or in the last few minutes, your mic controls are disabled by default because of two main reasons. That sometimes it gets very chaotic in terms of there's a lot of echo, and I mean, if someone forgets to unmute the mic, or someone is keeping his mic on unmute, then generally there's a lot of echo that you would hear. And second, it's rather more easier for me as a facilitator to read your comments, read your questions through the chat box and answer them as I finish the topic, or as and when I consider it to be appropriate. I mean, by not disturbing the rest of us. So That's why we always use the chat window to answer your questions. I mean, I will of course be speaking, and I'll be trying to answer your questions as soon as possible, but would request you to pen them down in the chat box. And don't worry, I keep an eye on chat box, and I'll ensure you that not even a single comment of yours goes unnoticed. So moving on, let's have a quick look at the week-wise plan for this facilitation program. So week one, which is, today and next class. So week one basically will represent the 2 sessions, because generally these sessions are scheduled on Saturdays and Sundays. So although we are starting from Sunday, so maybe because of that it might be a little different in the way it's written down here. But if you consider that week one or any week would be talking about 2 sessions, so in 2 sessions, in today's sessions and in the next Saturday's session, we would try to cover introduction topic, which includes certain objectives of this training program, basic information about the PMP, some basic definitions, terminologies that we have to be aware of, which is all up till here. And then what are the knowledge areas, what are the different process groups in PMBOK, which is Project Management Body of Knowledge, which is the reference guide for PMP. And then we will have a quick quiz. I mean, we will have a quiz at the end of every topic. So generally you would see 4 questions being asked at the end of each topic as part of this quiz. So, but because under the introduction there is a lot of things that we talk about, so that's why the first quiz is of 10 questions. Then hopefully next Saturday we would talk about different process groups. I mean, there are 5 process groups: initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, controlling, and closing. So Saturday we will try to at least cover the initiation process group and some part of planning process group. Then after that, and the next 2 sessions, we would be looking at the rest of the planning. I mean, still we'll not be able to cover the whole planning process group, but again in the next 2 sessions we would be talking about only planning. Then in week 3 we would be talking about planning as well as execution. So in week 3 we should be able to finish our planning and move into execution. So then in week 3 we will look at the different processes from execution family. Then in week 4 we would be looking at monitoring and controlling as our process group, and under that whatever processes are there. Along with that, if possible, we would also be looking at closing process group. And then on the last class, which would be the last Sunday of our program, we would be discussing lots of questions, like 100 questions that you would get as your simulation questions. And we would be giving you some time to come up with any questions, any particular discussion questions that you might want me to take up in regards of any topics that you didn't understand, or application filling process, or any general question that you might have about project management. So we can do that in detail at length at the last session, and of course then we'll have a quick summary and feedback. So guys, generally every week you would be given certain questions as part of your homework. So because today is Sunday and this is the only class of this week, so in the coming week your simulation tests will be available. So would request you to please make sure that you go through the first simulation test, which is of 25 questions, and answer them. I know the questions won't be restricted to the topics that we cover, because it's generally not very easy to define that what topics we would be covering in each week, and sometimes there is a difference in the topics. So that's why we have rather kept them simple in terms of their difficulty level, but we have not restricted the course to be only the topics that we covered in the last week. So the questions will come from anywhere in the whole project management, But still, give it a try. I mean, there is no harm in it, and as such, there is no implications of failing or passing those simulation tests. Not simulation tests, intermediate test. I'm sorry if I use the word simulation. So simulation test is something else. Intermediate test, intermediate quiz is what I'm talking about. So intermediate quiz, so there is no implication of passing or failing them. So you can go ahead and give it a try, and I will be discussing those questions at the end of each week. Any questions so far, guys? All right, so let's have a quick look at the objectives of this facilitation program. So upon completion of this training program, you'll be able to understand all the different processes, knowledge areas that are explained in PMBOK Guide 5th edition, which is the latest edition. So PMBOK stands for Project Management Body of Knowledge. And it will be also, I mean, as one of the objectives, you'll be well versed with the common project management terminology as prescribed by PMI, which is Project Management Institute based out in US, and of course project management concepts along with some frameworks. This will ultimately help you in applying this knowledge in the real world situations, and hopefully will give you the wisdom to make good decisions and be able to close your projects at a better success rate as compared to what you have been doing in past. And of course, this would also help you in getting prepared for your PMP exam. So you would get those 35 contact hours that are one of the prerequisites before you can sit for this exam. So along with not only the hours, but also the knowledge is important for the exam, which you will definitely, I guess, and I'll make sure that you get the knowledge by the end of this whole program. So the scope of this training program is to help the participants get prepared for the PMP examination as per the PMBOK Guide 5th edition, which is used as the basic reference. So the facilitation during training will be focused on understanding the framework and concepts from PMBOK Guide 5th edition and the study concepts required to prepare for the exam. So let's get started with the introduction. So we would be looking at some of these things, I mean most of these things, that what is PMI, PMP, what is the purpose of PMBOK Guide, why become PMP certified, what is the exam syllabus, and what is the actual exam like. So what is PMP and PMI? So PMI stands for Project Management Institute, and this is an organization which is a not-for-profit organization, and their main objective of this organization is to make project management a better discipline by providing certain best practices and a methodology to use on most of the projects, and hence be able to deliver more projects with better success rate. So PMI is an organization which is working in the direction of making project management a better discipline. PMP is Project Management Professional, and it's basically a name of the certification that is provided by PMI. So PMI is an organization that provides a certification which is called as PMP. And not only PMP, I mean PMI is also providing different other certifications like program management, agile management, or also certified scheduler or risk certifications. So there is quite a good portfolio, or quite a good different number of certifications that these people provide. We will have a quick look on those that they are providing. Now, I guess this I've already explained you. PMI is an organization, whereas PMP is a certification. And PMI is the organization that conducts the PMP examinations, or that administers the examination, or that takes care of any aspect in terms of PMBOK, in terms of exam, in terms of application process. So everything goes to PMI, and they are the central point of contact. Once you hopefully clear your certification, PMP certification, this certification will be valid for 3 years, and there is a renewal cycle that you have to follow at the end of every 3 years, which I will shortly discuss about. PDU is again one of the terms that you might have heard and you might also use quite often, that you need so many PDUs or this many PDUs. So PDU stands for Professional Development Unit. So basically PDU, if you see, it's a professional development and it's a measure. So each PDU refers to 1 hour of professional development done. So if I'm saying that I need 10 PDUs, then that means what I'm referring to is that I need to ensure that I have gone through at least 10 hours of professional development in order to achieve certain aspect. Maybe you're trying to renew your certification or any other thing. So PDU stands for Professional Development Units. PMBOK, I guess I've told you that a couple of times by now already. So it stands for Project Management, or fifth edition of a guide to the project management body of knowledge. Remember, it's body of knowledge, not book of knowledge. So many people have this misconception in their mind that it's book of knowledge, rather it's body of knowledge. So PMBOK Guide 5th edition is a textbook for PMP exam. Instead of textbook, please remember the word Bible. So PMBOK 5th edition is not just a textbook, it's rather my Bible for the exam. Reason being, anything that is written in the PMBOK 5th edition, you have to follow it the way it is. I mean, you can definitely question it, you can definitely challenge it, you can write to PMI about something that you think is not correct or something that should be changed, but till the time it's not changed officially, you have to follow what's there in it. So many a times there are certain aspects that you would say that probably it's just a matter of vocabulary or just a matter of words. So yes, at times it's like that only. You can definitely use different set of words to explain the same thing. But if at all there is a question that's asking you to outline or give you or give the definition as per the PMBOK, then you have to make sure that you select the right words as per the PMBOK. So introduction to PMI. So like I said, that PMI is headquartered in USA and they were founded in 1969. It's the world's leading not-for-profit organization for project management professionals with the purpose of advancing this discipline. So far, more than 500,000 people hold the PMP certification. PMI advocates the best practices in not just project, but also in program and portfolio management. Other credentials that they offer are CAPM, PMP like you are aware of, PGMP, Agile Certified Practitioner, Risk Management Professional, or Scheduling Professional. So these are just some of the other certifications that you would find PMI offers. So purpose of PMBOK Guide, it's the sum of knowledge within the profession of project management as per PMI. Includes widely applied practices and innovation. So you would see that whenever if you get a chance to get a hold of one of these copies of PMBOK Guide 5th edition, if you look at the authors, I mean the people the people who have contributed towards the development of this guide, you would see that people or the different authors are actually coming from different industries. It's not like that maybe only the aerospace industry or only the construction industry. I mean, you would find people from just about every industry having their inputs in preparing or coming up with this, which means that it includes a lot of differently used practices and differently used innovations in the field of project management, and they try to sum that up as part of this particular guide, which includes lots of different methods, lots of different processes, lots of different practices, and it's constantly evolving. Again, quite an important aspect for any certification program to be successful, that it should not remain stagnant. I mean, as you can see that we are working on 5th edition, so which means that there have been constant revisions to our methodology, and every time we update, we make sure that we are following the latest trends, latest practices in the industry. So one of the very simple examples I can give you about this is that, not sure if you have an idea about PMBOK Guide 4th edition. So that was just a couple of years back that we were working on 4th edition, and then 5th edition got introduced. Now, until 4th edition, PMI or PMBOK never talked about any agile concepts. So maybe I'm not sure if you're aware of agile concepts or agile methodology, but agile project management is basically used in rapidly changing environments. So a simple example could be software development. So when you are working on a software development project, generally it's widely accepted that PMI's project management methodology is not really helpful. So in those kind of projects, we generally go for agile methodologies, which is a different type or different set of methodologies, which all together a different objective or with different set of practices that they follow. But with the introduction of 5th edition, actually PMBOK included lots of those techniques or lots of those practices that people in the agile methodologies follow. So I mean, you would see today itself that we will talk about something called as iterative and incremental cycle, and this was never ever part of our PMBOK up till PMBOK Guide 4th edition. So till then it was purely a waterfall project management or traditional project management. But with the evolution, with the increasing demand of certain method which can help in rapidly changing environment, PMBOK Guide also got that update or those different things updated in it that can help in agile type of projects. The knowledge and practices are applicable to most projects. So once again, it's not industry specific. I mean, you can use it anywhere. And again, it's not specific that it will only be applicable on large projects or very complex projects. You can even do small projects or simpler projects using this same methodology. Maybe you might just have to scale down the methodology a little bit to make it less or to make it less less time taking for you as in the methodology itself. PMBOK Guide 5th edition is used as a reference. Again, if you have a copy of that, you would know that PMBOK Guide 5th edition is divided into 4 sections. Section 1 talks about the introduction. Section 2 talks about different types of organizations and how do they influence the projects, and along with that, project life cycle. So I guess we would be working on introduction and organizational influences, project life cycle, and process groups. I mean, the overall definition of process groups, something that we have planned for today. And then section 4 is what we would be doing for the rest of our 8 sessions, because that's where the most of the content is, that's where the most of the concepts are laid down. So why do you want to become PMP certified? I'm sure one of the common answers would be that it's very much in demand when it comes to switching job, or when it comes to looking out for a job in the field of project management. So which basically means that it's a widely recognized project management certification. So you would find that almost all the companies, all the organizations, they respect this or they recognize this certification from PMI. Worldwide recognition of your knowledge of project management. Now, because of the level of difficulty of this examination or the type of questions that they put up in this examination, it also ensures that if you have cleared this examination, then you do have the knowledge of project management. You do have the required skill set to deliver the projects. It also demonstrates proof of professional achievement, improves the way you manage your projects, definitely. increases your marketability, no doubt about that. It displays your willingness to pursue growth. I mean, okay, you might say that how does it do that? So I was just talking about a renewal cycle that once you become PMP certified, the things don't stop there. I mean, you just don't do the certification and forget about it. PMI requires you to keep upgrading or keep yourself into the development cycle by achieving those PDUs throughout the renewal cycle. So every 3 years you have to show that you have done 60 hours of professional development. So this basically displays your willingness to pursue growth, that you are still trying to make yourself better and better at doing certain things or doing something. Hence, again, it becomes more valuable, increases your customers' confidence, and valued globally across different industry verticals and companies. I mean, this is just a small list of companies. Probably if you are on some job websites, you would see that be it any organization, I mean, most of them, they would require, or they would have PMP certified individual on the higher priority than the ones who are not. So are we good on this, guys, so far? Great. So now let's talk about exam eligibility. So basically there are two scenarios in which your eligibility would be. So one would be that let's say that you have a graduation degree or a 4-year degree or any global equivalent. So in that case, you would go with the second set of requirements. But if in case you don't have a graduation degree or just have a diploma or a high school secondary, senior secondary, as we call it in India. So if that's the case, then your first row will be applicable. So depending upon your educational background, you would require to show different project management experience. So now, in case you don't have a graduation, you have to show that you have worked minimum 5 years or 60 months with unique non-overlapping professional project management experience, during which you have achieved at least 7,500 hours in leading and directing your project tasks. Very, very important to understand the difference between being part of a project team and being part of the project management team. So when you say that you have been working as a team member on some project, then PMI does not consider that as project management experience. I mean, that's definitely your project experience, no doubt about that, but it's not your project management experience. So you have to have any kind of leading or directing role on the project management team. So it might not be necessary to be a project manager to be leading and directing. Quite possible that you might be the team manager or maybe assistant project manager or assistant team manager. I mean, it could be any role which is somewhere or the other related with management, or is talking about leading and directing the project tasks. So please, if you have experience of, let's say if I'm a programmer and I have experience of programming for projects for last 3 years, then I would not at all call that as project management experience. This requirements is, the project management experience just gets reduced to 3 years and 4,500 hours if you have a bachelor's degree. So that's the only difference. And 35 hours of formal education remains same in both the cases. So this is what we will be giving you at the end of this training program. So you would be able to successfully fulfill the criteria of 35 contact hours of formal education. But of course, experience you have to manage yourself. Now, there are certain things to remember about this experience part, that all your project management experience must have been accrued within the last 8 consecutive years prior to submission of your application.